Hey guys, how are you doing? It is the time again, Lure Masters live talk. Today with a special guest, Christoph Barra is going to join us in a few minutes. He actually just parked his boat literally at the marina, went to the car and to charge his phone, and he will be with us shortly. Welcome everybody to the stream. It has been hectic as always, and we are going to talk a little bit today about a few different topics in relation with the Lure Masters and the upcoming and ongoing events. So first of all, let me get my notes. We would, if you guys are not familiar with myself, my name is Christian Biret. I am one of the organizers of the Lure Masters tournaments, and I'm organizing them together with my partner Timo Ruff. And yeah, we have our big boat event coming up. Hermann, how is it going? Greetings to you and see you soon. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we have the big boat competition coming up, the Lure Masters Trophy in September. And we also have some of the other Lure Masters online open competitions starting very shortly, while we have the Lure Masters online ASP Open currently running. And there's also more than 50 people from Europe competing for the win in this competition. It is sponsored by Topwater Productions, and there's cool prizes to win. So let's jump into the browser and take a closer look at the edition that is actually currently running. So let's go. Yes, so as I said, there's that Topwater Production ASP Open currently running, and it's a tournament that has been ongoing for a few weeks now and will end next Saturday, so the upcoming week Saturday, and this is August 21st, and it is a tournament for 6 ASP which is currently going on, and you can find all the information on our website. And also there's a lot of things going on currently that you can also follow in the live leaderboard. A few big ones have been caught lately, and also the top 5 is impressively with all the fish bigger than 70 centimeters. And also I think today came in by Kevin Keevan the biggest asp of the competition with 82 centimeters. That's quite a big asp of its species, and it will put him in the second position currently. So it's getting closer and closer here as well. Tonight we're going to talk also about the upcoming Lure Masters Trophy. We have Christoph Barra as a guest in our show tonight. He just recently won the ActiveTarget Zander Open, and you also are able to put your questions in the chat if you haven't already sent them in to us on the social media channels. We have collected a few, and I'm already curious to present them to Christoph. Let's see. Then we also have the online Perch Open Stage 2 coming up, which we're going to talk a little bit more about later on. And also in less than, a little more than 4 weeks actually, we have the big boat competition coming up. Currently we are working pretty hard on the preparation for this tournament, and also finalizing things on the website that we have newly developed, and where you can also not only sign up for the competitions, buy the tickets, automatically get signed up for the competition, but also you can report the fish all there. So we have one system for everybody to access by different browsers. So that's about it, and I will try to join to the scene and see if we can get Christoph into the show. Hey,
Hi.
can you turn the phone to the
Yes,
horizontal?
just one moment.
because
Fix this tape here.
because otherwise it will probably hurt my neck if I have to sit all day like this. But I'm not sure. Maybe. Let's see.
Does it work? No.
It's still in. It's like it's not. Do you have it horizontally now?
No, I turned it 180 degree. Try it again. It's better like this.
It is.
Fix it here again.
So you're literally in the marina right now. You just came in from fishing.
Just stop the fishing, yes. Oh.
You told me you have to work today, man.
Yes, I worked before fishing.
That's cool. So in your job, you can also get some time off to go fishing.
Yes, I'm self-employed and can decide to go fishing when the work is done.
And then continue working afterwards when it's nighttime.
Exactly.
That's the other side of being self-employed.
Yes, it's not only the possibility to go fishing.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. Okay, I hope it's fixed now.
Okay, yeah, let's take it like this. Yeah, so you mentioned already that you're self-employed and you just came back from fishing. What do you do? I mean, as a profession, what's your job?
I am an electrician. So I do electrical installation for buildings and houses and so on. That's my job.
Okay, cool.
And of course, in the boat as well, not only in my own boat. There are many friends coming with electronic problems, of course.
Yeah.
With their boats. Yeah.
There's always issues with boats, especially in the electrical things, and also many people are upgrading their equipment. So you're also doing this as a side job and helping them out. That's cool. And you're living in the...
That's not my profession.
Yeah? And you
That's not my profession. It's more like if they ask for, it's like a favor, not a job.
Yeah, okay, cool. And you're living in the north of Germany, right?
Yeah, that's right. You
have always lived there, or did you move there for your business, or is that your hometown?
No, I grow up here and live here since I was born, yes.
Okay, and when did you start fishing?
I started fishing with my dad, as the most people did, and I don't know, with 4 or 5 years. He took me fishing the first time, and yes, after this I went on my own when I was old enough and fishing more and more, yeah.
And does he still fish with you?
I was fishing yesterday with him.
Cool.
It's not that easy. It's 1 hour to drive from him to come where I live or where we can fish together. And yeah, 1 time in a month we go fishing together, for example. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. So he still continued with his hobby and you can now do it together. And who would you say is nowadays the better fisherman?
I think I'm the better fisherman now.
Yeah. So it's not like he's catching more big Zanders than you do.
No.
Okay.
He's happy when he can join and come on the boat.
Yeah, I mean, that would be impressive if he would catch even more big Zanders than you do. Because I have just taken a look at your Instagram profile again today. I mean, I've seen it a few times lately in the competition that you also joined the ActiveTarget Zander Open, which I think it's almost 4 weeks that it is now over, and you won it. So let's quickly switch to your Instagram profile real quick.
Okay.
There we have it. I hope you can see it as well. And your latest post is of the receival of your prize that you won in the ActiveTarget Zander Open, which is an ActiveTarget transducer and also the HDS Live unit. And you just recently returned from vacation and received this as a present upon your arrival. And
Yeah.
did you already install it?
No, it's not installed on the boat. I have total equipment of electronic in the boat and don't know if I should put this on top
Extra
because
unit?
I have to improve the batteries. I think if it's should all work together. And yeah.
So that's still in the planning. And
yes,
also there is one picture at least from your vacation. And of course, I have to bring this up because I love bass fishing so much. And you have also experienced this now. I think you traveled in France.
France, yes, right.
And you also told me it has not been so easy because of the restrictions, and you had to kind of reschedule and replan your trip because of some areas that you could not move in. And how was it? I mean, tell us a little bit about the vacation if you want.
Yeah, well, vacation, of course, it's always nice, and I needed the vacation because not only because of the job, the lure master was hard as well because I have to stand up early to go or being able to go fishing before the work and after, and it was a hard time. And vacation was okay now, very enjoyable. And yes, fishing was not the main part of the vacation. It was family vacation, and I was happy to be able to fish a little bit. Not every day, of course. And yes, normally the plan was to go fly fishing 1 week, and after this to go fishing for catfish. But it was not so easy because of high water level in the river where we want to go for catfish, and so we switched for black bass fishing, and was a nice opportunity to catch them the first time. So the first time I really was hunting the black bass, and very fun kind of fishing.
So you said you traveled with your family. It was a family vacation. Did your father come with you?
Yes.
Or?
No, my girlfriend and our young children.
Okay.
Yes.
Do they also fish? Your kids?
My children are 4 months,
Ah.
both. So these are twins. I hope the next few months they will start. Yes.
Yeah, let's give them 1 or 2 months, and then maybe for the
Yes.
next year in the competition.
Yeah.
So you said it was exhausting to fish the ActiveTarget Zander Open over the duration of 6 weeks. It's a pretty long period, so to say. And you also
Yes.
started to bring up some big fish pretty early. And then it was a tough fight. I mean, you have been in the top places for a long time, but you said it was hard to get up early. Did it put more pressure on you than regular fishing? And how did you manage to prepare to it, or how did you actually take a look at others that are behind you and trying to catch up?
Yeah, of course, it's more pressure to go fishing in a competition than fishing on your own with no pressure. And of course, if you join a competition, you want to win it. And I was fighting to win this competition. And yes, I was looking, of course, one time each day on the leaderboard, sometimes more than one time. I'm good connected to Freddy, and I know often when he is on the water before he went out. And so in most cases, he catch big fish when he's out. And that's the moment every evening when I know he was fishing. I was looking at the leaderboard, of course. He was in close contact to me for a long time. And yeah.
And then all of a sudden he remained silent and didn't give you the information anymore because because you didn't want to share it.
No, we were talking together also in the competition and share the information where the fishing is good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also saw one picture that you fish together with him, and we also showed this in the live stream, I think, in the prize giving live stream last time. And so it seems you're enjoying a good friendship and also exchanging knowledge. Does this make you a bit better fisherman? I mean, you both?
Yes, for me, I can say, of course, it makes me a better fisherman. I think it's very difficult to get all this knowledge and experience on your own. It's much more easy to share with other good fishermen, and you can't explain everything on your own. You have to share it with someone. I think it's much easier. Yes.
Yeah. So one lifetime is probably not enough. I mean, all the fishermen are striving to find out the key to catch them every day, but it's too complex for one lifetime, I guess.
So many types of waters, and you can't try them all on your own. Yeah, you have to share it a little bit. You can't travel all over Europe to find out what water is best in this time of the year, and it's much easier with a group of fishermen to share this knowledge.
Yeah, cool. So do you most of the time fish in Germany or in the Netherlands or in other countries?
I'm quite often in the Netherlands. Of course, I go fishing in Germany as well. And it depends a little bit on the time of the year and on the species I want to catch. But I think the Netherlands is it's half and half, fishing in the Netherlands and fishing in Germany.
Okay. How long do you have to drive to get to the lakes in Netherlands?
For the nearer lakes, it's 2.5 hours to go,
Okay.
and for Holland's Deep or Haringvliet, it's 4.5 hours
Okay.
to go there.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's not too bad compared to where I live, but still you cannot go there just for an evening session.
It's difficult. I did sometimes not the Haringvliet or something like this. This is a bit too much for an evening session, but I did it often for a one-day trip to go there for 3-hour drive in both direction.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that's what fishing is also. And I don't know, how old are you by now?
31 years.
31. So yeah, you will feel that in a few years that it's not that easy to do the hardcore trips. But I think many of us have done this, and it's pretty cool to hear that you are also doing this overnight trips or getting up in the middle of the night, start driving, go fishing, and this is what it is about.
Yes.
Christoph, I've done a little research. I don't know if you will be able to see it, but I have to bring this up.
Yeah.
And this brings me to the question that how long do you fish actually for predators? Because obviously you have done something else. Did you do this at the same time, or how did this happen?
I do predator fishing since, I would say, 5 years. I was very, very intensive in coarse angling, and so fishing for bream and roach and so on, competition fishing. And I did it several years, and I was a little bit successful, I would say. Yes, but when I was studying, I haven't had the time and the money to do this or to practice it like I want, and then I stopped this style of fishing and switched to predator fishing because I thought it's much easier. You have to have only one rod, one reel, and can go fishing. Now it looks a little bit different with a boat and a trailer and all this stuff. It's much more than the coarse angling stuff, but yeah, that was the reason why I stopped coarse angling and switched to predator fishing.
Okay. And would you go back?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And
do it in the spawning time. I go sometimes feeder fishing or something like that, only for fun. But I don't think that I will go back for competition fishing in coarse angling.
Okay. But did this actually, I mean, are you a competitive guy in many different sports, for example, or is it only fishing that you try to compete?
No, this is only fishing. Of course, I do some sports, but not as competitive as fishing.
So basically, the course angling did bring you to the competitions, and then in the university time, you decided to go for predator fishing because you thought it's less time consuming and less tackle
Yes,
consuming, but in the end, it turned out a little bit differently.
yes, but it was a different situation in course angling. Um, I took part in a few world championships, and these are all fixed dates where you have to go there if you want to go. And sometimes it's not possible to do or to make those dates or appointments half a year before or a year before they will took place, and it wasn't that easy to do studying and do this kind of intensive fishing at the same time. So that was the reason I stopped. Now it's always it's a little bit easier to go to plan your time and to do competition fishing. And now I'm predator fisherman and not more bream angler.
Yeah, cool. And for those competitions, I mean, you said you competed in the world, actually in the what's that called, the team of
World championship.
the German
Yes.
team, the national team that
Yes.
goes to the World Championships. And in which different countries did you see in this relation? I mean,
I was 2 times in Italy, one time in Portugal, and in Slovenia one time. So I took part in 4 World Championships.
cool.
Yeah, it's mostly in Europe.
And did you have to
So
qualify to get into this team, or how did that work?
yeah, yes, of course. You have to bring a good result in a German championship, and after that, there is qualifying within the national team, if you want to say so. So you have to qualify every year again against all those other who wants to go there.
Yeah, cool. So,
Yes.
Haku just said, Brassen jetzt nur noch quer.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I'm not that happy about catching a bream as I was a few years ago.
So now, as you have impressively shown in the competition, you are, I would say it's okay to say you are already known to catch Big Zander. And I didn't see you competing in the Aspius competition. So I question myself, is it that you are only fishing for Zander, or how is that?
No, it's not only fishing for Zander, but I spent a lot of time for the Zander competition, and it's not so easy as I mentioned to do this with working, and vacation time was for me in the same time period as the ASP competition is, and so I decided not to join in this competition. And I'm not a good ASP fisherman as well.
Yeah, but some people that are normally not fishing for ASP, they signed up and competed. And they said, hey man, that
Yeah.
was so cool because it brought me to a new horizon of a new style of fishing. And that's pretty cool to hear that people are getting actually, I wouldn't say forced, but they have to do something else that they regularly don't do, and then it brings up new things, new fishing styles, new lakes, new spots, and that's quite cool to hear.
Yes. I would have joined in if I had more time, I think.
Yeah,
But
no problem.
it was very good for me, yeah.
I just thought maybe it's a good combination because you fished for bream before and now for a Zander, so S would be maybe something in between.
Yeah, that's right.
So you said 6 weeks have been really exhausting. What do you think about the time frame? Because we will run the upcoming Purge Online Open in a shorter time period now, and So basically we are aiming for a shorter time frame and then maybe have some more competitions within the year. Was it too long for
Yes.
you? Would you personally think it's better to have it only for like 4 weeks or maybe even less?
Yes, I would prefer a shorter period. I think it's there are some people which have much time and can go fishing maybe 4 weeks. I know some did like this, even more than 4 weeks. And so there is a little bit difference in how many time you can spend for fishing. And I think it would be more comparable if there is the same time fishing for every competitor. So I would say it's a very long period. I know there are people, they have to travel for a long time to go where they can fish in good conditions, and they can't fish every day. So 6 weeks are quite a good time for them because they have the opportunity to go every weekend, for example. But there are many people living there where they can fish pretty good and they can spend every evening on the water, and it's a wide gap in the possibilities of all those competitors.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we try to with this online format, of course, it's not that super serious like other competitions because simply of the fact that we cannot observe all the local rules and stuff like that. So also it's very important that the people are playing fair, and then there's also the other competitions where we have the referees and can have a closer look and make sure that everybody has the same chances and the same time to catch the fish. And with this format, with the online open, we also try to bring something to people for basically everybody who wants to join and try out to compete against others. And yeah, as you said, some people, they only maybe have 1 weekend that they are planning to spend, or 1 week for vacation in the Netherlands, and then they buy the measuring board, buy the ticket and join in, and then can in the end compete against you guys. And on the other hand, you can also win this within 1 day if you have a good day. So showing up on the last
Yes,
day is still a possibility.
yes. I don't think it's so easy, or even I don't think it's not possible to catch 5 Zander of more than 97 centimeter on one day. I never had this, and I don't know any guy which caught this in the last few years. And yeah, but of course it's possible.
I can tell you that I never in my life caught a fish like this, so you're probably right. Um, yeah, Marco Mai said even a weekend tournament online would be nice. Yeah, that's a possibility, of course. And thank you also for the feedback for that. He also said earlier that you are the best fisherman that he knows. I don't know his real name, but I think you can take it as a compliment. Marco Mai.
Okay. Thank
And
you, Marco.
and yeah, as I mentioned, you have huge Zander in your profile, in your Instagram, and you said that you are also fishing for the other species, but not so much for asp. Would you say that you are the most specialized in Zander fishing? And if yes, what is the reason for that?
Yes, I would say the Zander is my favorite species. And well, where I live, I started predator fishing for Zanders, and I try to improve it all the time. And well, it's easier to do this where you live and to improve this than, for example, perch fishing. Of course, you can catch a perch here as well, but not that many and not that big as it's in the Netherlands, for example, possible. When I go to the Netherlands, I often use the opportunity to go there for perch fishing, and I better do it there than Zander fishing, for example, or pike fishing. And yes, I think you are the best in what you're doing the most time, and that's the reason why I'm specialized a little bit in Zander fishing. I like the other species very much as well, and I really enjoy to go pike fishing or perch fishing as well. Yeah, but Zander is the the species I spent the most time for, I would say.
Okay, so mainly because in the area where you live, it's the best species to fish for and you have the most experience with? Or is it also the bite or the fight?
No, no, that's not the reason why I fish for Zander. The fight, I think a pike is much better fighting fish than a Zander. And I don't do that much Zander fishing where I live right now. I started Zander fishing where I live and did it a lot of time the last years. But there are better waters to go for Zander. I know now in this time, and it's always a little time to go by car there for me. But if you have the opportunity to catch those really big Zanders, you spend an hour or even hour and a half to go there. It's no problem.
Yeah, cool. So another question I have is by a user that was sent in by Instagram. When you signed up for the Lure Masters online competition, did you already plan that you are winning? I mean, did you already kind of know that you are winning because of the fish of the size of fish that you are able to catch? Because you have the experience with it in this period, for example.
Yes. Of course, when I join a competition, I want to win, but I never would say you can plan to win a competition. Of course, you are. Yes, you have a good feeling if you caught big fish in the time before the competition starts. And of course, I know that it's not so easy to catch those really big Zanders regularly in many waters. And so I was feeling there is a chance to win, but it was not planned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. So I found this picture as well. That must be you a few years back. You finished second.
I don't know, second or
yeah, it says
maybe this year second, and the year before we won this competition. Yes.
Okay.
It's a very good friend of mine, Harald, and now I run his old company. So
okay.
the company, my business was his business before, and I know him from fishing, and it's a very, very good friend now. And yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So you met him fishing, and in the end, you joined his business and are running his business now. So this is also part of the fishing family, which makes it so special.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes. Before I met him, I was working in a bank and studying economics, so totally different from what I'm doing now. And he took me working during my studying time in his company, and I learned my business from him. And yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And for the Predator competitions, did you win other competitions before?
I never took part in another competition before.
That's the first one.
I joined in the, yes, it was the first one for me. I joined in the Lure Master Trophy. I joined in last year, but didn't take part last year. So I'm very happy to go there this year in September.
Yeah, the situation kind of exploded a few weeks ago in the Netherlands again with the infection rates, and everything was again on hold, and Germany declared the Netherlands as a high-risk area, which makes traveling really difficult. But now it's looking really good, and we have the most of the permissions already in place. So I think nothing can stop us now, hopefully. And you never know with the rules and regulations, but you probably know all of that. Another question was, how was it for you to fish this online format? And will you defend your title again?
I would definitely try to defend the title again, yes, and I would take part in an online competition again, of course. Yeah, I can say definitely yes.
Okay, cool. And then there's another question. What's your recipe of success? How does it happen that you catch so many big Zanders?
I think there is not a recipe for catching those big Zanders. Otherwise, there will much more big Zanders caught. I think you have to go to the right kind of water or body of water where those big fish live. And you have to be there in the right time, of course. There are many waters. There are big Zanders, but it's nearly impossible to catch them in one time of the year, and another time of the year is really good. So it's very much of experience. And as I mentioned before, if you are connected to other good fishermen, you get some information where the big Zanders are possible to catch in this time. And you have to be flexible and try to travel there where the big fish is biting and feeding.
And you said you're only fishing for predators since 5 years, so that's actually not so much time you invested up until now in this predator fishing in general. There's people that fish a lifetime and did not catch Zanders like this. So you said also it's very important, of course, to fish where they live. But what would you say is affecting Zander the most in terms of, for example, temperature, oxygen level, moon phase, or something like that after your experience?
I don't think that this is an important point. Of course, there are better days and there are days where they don't feed. But I cannot say that, for example, if the moon is not the right condition, I stay home. I go out fishing if I have time to go fishing. And I'm catching Zanders sometimes in the full moon time, where many people say it's a good time. But I also have days with full moon and normally perfect conditions, and the fish don't feed, or they are still not there where I found them the day before. I think it's much more important to know what they are doing, what kind of species of fish they are feeding, where this fish is to find for the Zander, and to fish there where they go for feeding in the natural way. You have to find the feeding places of those fish and try to imitate, of course, maybe also the kind of fish they are feeding.
Mm-hmm.
This is much more important, in my opinion, than checking moon phases or wind conditions or something like this.
Okay, that's really interesting
Yes.
because many anglers are saying that water clarity or, for example, the moon phase is having a big impact. But on the other hand, there's anglers like you that say, I don't think it has much of a big impact to that. I go fishing when I can and I catch them no matter the moon phase. And I think you're probably right. I personally think you're right that it's more important. I mean, if you yourself are not feeling well, you probably don't have the need to eat something, and it's probably the same with the fish. So if they don't feel well in their environment because of anything, maybe they don't want to eat. But I think what you mentioned is much more important to find the places and to find the right lures to imitate the right bait fish, for example, or whatever they are feeding on, in order to catch them.
Yes. And you have to look a little bit, as you mentioned, the water clarity, for example. This is a point. It's very important point in Zander fishing. If the water is very clear, it's not that easy to catch big Zanders during the daytime. Mm-hmm. If the water is a bit more milky, it's much easier. And there are periods in what the water is more milky in the higher water level, and if it's raining a lot, most waters go a little bit darker, and it's easier then to catch the Zanders during the daytime. But you can catch big Zanders in clear water conditions also during the daytime, but it's easier in the darker periods, for example. And you have to fish when the fish is feeding, and this is, for example, in clear water and during the nighttime. And yeah.
So if I remember correctly, all the fish you caught were during daytime, right? In the competition, I mean. No, I cannot hear you anymore. Let me check. Can you hear me? Maybe try to rejoin real quick. Yeah, so while he is joining to get the audio right, I mean, this is live stream. Pantoffel Plays already also joined in. Congrats to Christoph. Thank you very much. And also check out his Twitch profile. He's streaming live from the water and pretty good content. Thanks for tuning in, man. And in case you have not followed our channel, please make sure to do so, because then you get also notified about our other live streams and also about the upcoming Lure Masters Trophy competition. I heard something, so let me check if
I'm back.
Christoph is
Can you
back.
hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. Yes. I received the call, and after that, the voice was broken down.
Okay, that's good to know,
Yes.
because the phone probably took the audio signal to take the call and didn't give it back to us.
Yes.
So you mentioned the water clarity, and I said that if I remember correctly, you caught all your Zanders during the daytime and not at night. So in this period, probably the water was milky enough to catch them in the daytime. Is it different by now? It looks pretty clear behind you.
Yes, it is clear water. It is possible to catch Zander also in the daytime here, but it's a bit more difficult. In the springtime or in the early summertime, there is normally a little bit more milky water because of growing plants, and this broke down, I think, 2 weeks ago, so the water gets more clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's still possible to catch a few fish.
So did you catch any today?
I caught one fish.
A Zander?
Yes, a Zander, and also a big fish.
How big?
Of exactly 1 meter.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Oh, we have to bring the picture of this one up in our next show. That's amazing, man.
Yes, I can send you.
Cool. And how many of 1 meter or more did you catch, and what's the biggest one?
The biggest one is 1 meter and 7. It was really a random fish I caught when I started predator fishing. So I hunt for this for this measure all the time now. I just saw the bait during the margin, and the fish took it directly the first day after spawning time. Yeah, that's my biggest fish so far. And yes, I don't know how many fish over 1 meter I caught. I would say around about 20, 25 maybe.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, yeah, simply amazing. But you seem to have the right information and the right body of water to do things like that. How much would you say personally? You mainly fish from the boat, right?
Yes.
How much would you say is it a factor these days to catch fish by using a boat, and especially how important is the technology you have on board to find the fish? What would you say?
Yeah, for me the electronicy is very important. It's much more effective. Of course, you can cast your lure and retrieve all the time, and you will hit a fish, of course. And I do fishing this style, of course, quite often for pike, nearly all the time, and also for Zander on the bottom. And vertical fishing I do often without electronic because I don't need this on the water where I fish, because I know the areas where I fish. But for pelagic fishing, it's very effective, and of course you can decide which size of fish you want to catch, because you see the size of the smaller ones and can say, I don't want to waste time in a fish of 70 centimeter if I'm in the competition and need a fish of 90 or bigger. I spent no time for fishing for the smaller ones, and that's not possible without a boat. And so both is very important. I think a boat is not only for using your electronic, it's of course much easier to switch your fishing spots, and you can explore much bigger types of water, which often holds the bigger fish. So
Yeah.
it's a big part of my fishing.
You mentioned pelagic fishing, so obviously you are doing this technique as well. And also you mentioned the technology, so for the live sonar basically, which is also the ActiveTarget. How accurate would you say can you say what size fish it is? Is it like 10 centimeter increments or even less?
I would say 2 centimeters.
Okay. And if you find a fish that you want to chase and catch, how much time does it sometimes take for you to follow the fish until he bites or maybe never bites?
It depends very much on the condition. If you have, for example, strong wind and currents or something like this, it's sometimes very hard to bring your lure or your bait where the fish is, and to bring it in front of the head of the fish. Often you need to be very, very close to the head of the fish to catch it. Yeah, sometimes in good conditions with no wind, you can drop the bait and the fish recognize, but it also depends on how the fish react. Sometimes they don't react for 5 minutes, and one time they lift up the head and took the bait, and sometimes you drop the bait and the fish is nearly coming up to the surface if you put the bait in and strikes. Yeah.
But do you sometimes try for, let's say, 30 minutes or more, or do you then go on to the next fish?
No, I tried in the past, but I never caught a fish like on this long time.
Okay.
So after 10 minutes, I would say it's not the same when I don't bring my bait in front of the fish. Then I sometimes go more than 1 hour for one fish. In, for example, very windy conditions, because I want to catch this one big fish. And when I go fishing, I don't find fish of this really big size every day. So if you find this one fish and it's the only fish you go for, of course you spend as much time as you need to bring your bait in front of the fish. And when the fish decides not to bite, it's something different. Then you can go and look for the next fish. But if you didn't get your bite there where it should be, then you have to.
That's very interesting. And boat accuracy and how you can maneuver your boat is also very important in this style of fishing. Did you buy this boat especially because you want to do pelagic fishing, or did it just happen? Because pelagic fishing is not for that long a thing. I don't know how many years, but you said.
Right. Yeah. Yes. I switched the boat last 2 years 2 times. I had a boat with a steering wheel, and I sold it because I want to do more pelagic fishing. And it's not only pelagic fishing for me. I think a tiller boat is much easier to control in very much situations, also for normal vertical jigging. And yeah, you can do everything from it. And last year I had the same boat but in a bigger size with bigger engine. This is also not the best, or was not the best for pelagic fishing, because it was very heavy, and with the engine it was not that perfect, because if you drag in, you go just 5 meters or 10 meters, and now I can go half a meter. It's much easier to follow a fish or to go for a fish.
And the boat you have now is a Lund, I think. Would you say this is the perfect one for your style of fishing for the moment? And what boat is it?
At the moment, it's a Pro Guide in 1675, so about 5 meters. It's very stable because it's very wide, with 2 meters 30, I think, and 5 meter long is very good to fish. You can handle it alone, but you can, of course, fish with a friend and also with two. Yeah, that's for me at the moment. It's a perfect boat.
Cool. And what engine do you have on it? How many horsepower?
60 horsepower.
Okay, and this is what you would say is very good to be able to move quickly, but also to have the maneuverability to be precise on the fish.
Yes, right.
Do you always fish with the engine on when you do pelagic fishing, or do you also use the trolling motor?
Yeah. No, I do only with the real engine. So there are many hours on the clock in short time.
Yeah. And I mean, if you want to share some information about the pelagic fishing style, is there any lures that you prefer to use? Bigger lures, smaller lures, if you don't want to tell us everything about the colors and stuff, but what's your preference there?
I do fishing with quite big lures. I think I don't have one lure under 20 centimeter in my boat.
Okay.
When I go Zander fishing, only for Zander fishing. Of course, for perch or something like this, I have smaller ones. And the type and color of lure, I don't think that the color is that important because I mainly use natural colors. And I don't think that it depends if it is silver or a little bit green or blue inside the painting of the fish. I don't think that this is the main fact which depends of the fish's biting. I think it's much more how you present it and not to turn it or to jig it too much when the fish is coming and do unnatural movements. And the stabilization of the lure in the water is very important. That it's not like this and not like this or this.
Mm-hmm.
These are much more important than the color of the bait.
Mm-hmm.
I can show you. I have some here in my boat
on
the rod.
That would be cool.
Moment. Yeah, I rig up the cable here. This is the one I was using today. I can show it. I built on my own. Most lures I use, I built on my own. So it's an imitation of an eel or something like this. And it's very simple, a little bit silver and white color, which I think there are many fish looking like this underwater.
And you also don't put a stinger in the back of the fish?
No.
Never?
No, I never use stinger hooks. No.
Because of the
Maybe
balance?
for pike fishing, yes, but well, for pelagic fishing, it is for the balance, and you don't need it.
Okay.
Zander would never try to hit here in the tail of fish like this. They always attack on the head, and I don't know if you can see it. They really damaged this.
The lead,
this
even the lead.
Yeah. You don't have to put. There is not any mark of biting fish here in the end of the lure. It's everything is here in front of the head.
Wow, that's a very helpful tip for many who want to try out pelagic fishing, I think. And it's a screw-in head, if I see correctly, and then you put a stinger on the jig head, right? I mean, a treble hook, not a stinger.
Yes, I put the head inside the mold when I don't know the English word for, but as you can see it's fitting here very nice, and so you have a round shape of the lead, and well, it fits a little bit better. And you can heat the bait you're using to form it a little bit like this if you are using baits from a shop and don't do them on your own.
Do you think this is important because of the turbulences and the movement under the water, or is it more for your personal taste?
It's more for my personal taste. I want to make it look as much as a real fish as I can, and yeah.
Okay, cool.
I don't think that you need it in every situation, but for me, I think it's good.
And what kind of rod would you recommend to do pelagic fishing? I mean, first of all, spinning or casting, and what range of casting weight, roughly?
I use casting rods only, and it's easier to drop the bait and to react with one hand because you have to steer the boat with the other hand, and you can wind in a little bit like this, hitting the brake of the reel, and The range is important, I would say, because you want to be near on your transducer with your lure. And if you have a very long rod, I think it's not so easy to put the bait there where you need it. So it's around 2 meters long, and casting weight is between 50 and 80. I don't like too heavy rods. I don't think it's needed. Sometimes for the hook set, it's better to have a really heavy rod because mainly the big fish, they took the lure very hard, and you have to move the bait in this strong mouth of the fish, and therefore, of course, a heavier rod would be a little bit better. But for fighting the fish, in my opinion, I'm losing not that much fish with a lighter rod because there is always some tension in the rod, and you never get a loose line.
Pretty cool, yeah. And you mentioned transducers, and what kind of different transducers are you using? I mean, also Martin Mohl tried to get some information about that. What is more, I remember he asked you, what is more important for you, the side scan or the down scan? What would you say is the most important for your style of fishing? What do you use the most?
You need both because the first what you have to do is find the fish, and the side scan is a very useful tool to find the fish or localize the fish next to the boat. And when you're fishing for those fish, you do it underneath the boat, so you also have a down scan which works very good. And with a live technique in a down scan mode, it's for me the best way to find the fish with side scan. And I localize it, then I use the down scan of the live transducer to see what the fish is doing and how it reacts on my presentation of the lure.
And do you have the transducer, the live transducer, mounted on a bracket that you can turn, or do you have it fixed installed on the boat?
No, I can turn it. It's on a pole, and yeah, it's possible to turn it.
And you also use this a lot to locate the movement of the fish, or is it more that you put it in and then do the rest with the boat by steering the boat?
I do the rest with the boat because it's very difficult to handle three things at the same time. You have to fish with one hand and you have to steer with one hand, and in most times there is windy conditions or something which is moving the boat away, and the fish is standing still in the water. So it's, in my opinion, it's more important to steer the boat than turn the transducer. So I use the engine of the boat to turn the transducer.
So maybe with your skills, together with Lowrance engineers and maybe Apple or Amazon Alexa, we can invent something that would be a transducer that can be turned by the voice. Alexa, please turn the transducer 3 degrees to starboard.
Or something like a spot lock, which you can put on the fish. It's this autopilot function.
Let's see what the future will bring. I mean, there has been a jump in the industry, especially for electronics. I think these years there has been the biggest movement in terms of how it changed ways of fishing, and let's see what's coming next. I mean, the technology used to be there also before, but it was simply not affordable for the general public and also much too big to put into a fishing boat. So I'm really curious what the future will bring and how this will affect the fishing itself. You mentioned earlier that you are going to compete in the upcoming Lure Masters trophy. We have renamed this basically. In the past there was only the Lure Masters. Now we have different formats. So for everybody who's in the stream and doesn't know yet, the Lure Masters trophy is the boat fishing tournament that is happening in September in a little bit more than 4 weeks. It's a tournament for Zander, pike and perch over 3 days, and for a total of 7 Zander, 5 perch and 3 pikes in 3 different bodies of water. So you draw your starting body of water and then you rotate through the different bodies of water. And you are fishing with Arne Zech.
No, I have to change.
You have to change.
Yes, I think I told you a few weeks ago, or I asked you how, on which way I can change, but I didn't send the mail to you yet, but I have to.
Okay.
I'm fishing together with my friend Luca Polimiero. He joined the Zander Online Open as well. Yes, we are fishing together. Arne, I wanted to fish with him last year, but he have no time this year.
Okay.
So,
and Luca, is it
yeah.
a personal friend of you? Do you go fishing together many times, or how did you pick your partner?
Fish very often, yes.
Okay. And is he also specialized in the Zander or also in other fish, or is it a good mix?
I would say he's the one of the best perch fishermen I know.
Okay.
So he's specialized in perch fishing, and he's a good Zander fisherman as well. But I would say perch is absolutely top fish.
Okay. And I mentioned that you guys have to draw the first body of water that you are starting in on the day of the registration. And is there any preference by your side? Do you already think about different tactics when you draw this first? You're going to do this or that, or do you just wait what happens and then start fishing?
Yes, of course you can't affect. So you have to wait of the drawing and decide what to do after. But I would say I would go to Holland Steep the first day if I can choose, because for me the Zander fishing is the main part, so to say, and I think it's the best water for this, and it would be a good feeling to bring 7 Zanders on the first day to make this complete, and can use the other waters where it's not so easy to catch a Zander as in the Holland Steep, I would say, for the other species.
Mm-hmm. And speaking about the Haringsvliet, I think personally it changed a lot. I didn't fish there for a few years now, actually, but like 5-6 years back, that was even before you started predator fishing. I think it was much more easy to catch perch there than it is nowadays. At least when I talk to other people that have really big difficulty to catch perch there, and therefore there is more and more perch, more and more pike there, and Zander here and there, but also not that concentrated anymore. Would you say this is correct, or do you see it differently?
I
Because
don't know the perch fishing 10 years ago. I know the perch fishing the last 3 or 4 years in a herring fleet, and I would say it's not a bad water for perch fishing. In my opinion, it's the water where you can fish for every of those 3 species, but it's not the best water. Maybe for pike, maybe it is the best water, or for a competition pike fishing, because there are many of them. So this is a good water for the last day, in my opinion, to do this what you need to do, because you maybe have to catch more perch or more pike. I think you can do everything there quite good.
Okay. And for the Volkerak, I think, what's your approach there? I mean, obviously the Zander is not so easy to catch there at daytime, at least. What's your take on that?
Right. Yeah, that's right. Zander fishing is very difficult in the daytime at the Volkerak, so you have to go for perch or pike there. Very good water for big perch, of course, and big pike as well. But I don't think it's so easy to catch one of these really big pikes, which the Volkerak is known for, during a competition. Because, yeah, you have to spend a lot of time, I think. Of course, you can be lucky and catch 1.30 meters in a competition as well, but it's not plannable, I think.
Yeah, cool. And so you don't really care. I mean, you said you would love to start in the Holland Steep, but you are making your plans according to the drawing. You don't plan everything ahead.
Yeah, that's only my opinion. Maybe Luca wants to go to Herring Fleet first or Volkerak first. Don't know. So we have to plan our tactic after drawing the waters, and yeah.
And in the competition, I mean, you said you did not fish a boat competition yet for Predator. But you go fishing with friends and you already know Luca. So how important do you think team play is in this competition format in terms of
I
the
think
tactic?
it's very important. Yeah, you have to fish with someone you know what the other one is doing, and I think you have to practice fishing together in the boat, not only during the 3 days before the competition or something like this. It's much easier. Luca is also a boat fisherman, so this is the first important thing. If I go fishing with someone which is only fishing from the boat when he comes with me, and he's not coming all the time with me, it's not that easy. Than fishing together with someone who owns a boat and is fishing from a boat as well. And yeah, of course, under pressure, sometimes there is maybe yeah, you have to be a good friend to fish a competition together, I think.
Yeah, there's always up and downs in the mood of the people, and I have
Yes.
also seen it go not in the best way, so to say, between some people, and
Yes.
it's nerve-wracking, and also it can create some frustration, and it's really interesting to see how the teams will fish together and adapt, and what characters will come up there during the Lowmasters Trophy. Okay, from my side, that's all the questions I had. There's also some comments that I was reading while you were reconnecting by Pantoffel Plays. He's also a Twitch streamer that actually streams live while fishing on Twitch. And he said, congrats to Christoph. Very well done. And in case you guys did not follow our channel, make sure to do so you'll get informed. And do you have any other questions or something you want to shout out in terms of the Lure Masters or fishing in general? I mean, we also plan that one thing I forgot to mention. We plan to our main plan is also to make our sport more visible. This is also why we are doing these live streams, because what normally happens is people, they fish and maybe nowadays they post something on social media, but in a competition like this, I believe, or we believe, it's important that the action is brought to the people as live as possible, and that people can see what's going on, and that people can see what's happening in the event, and not 3 months later when we are done with some editing of some videos, because everybody already know who won and what happened a little bit. So what we are planning is a live stream for all 3 days of the event with cameras also on the boats, so that people can really follow the action live on the water and experience fishing as close as it gets in the competition. And also I think there will be some emotions coming up within some teams. And yeah, my question that I did not let you answer is if there's any more questions on your side or anything you want to shout out to the people watching.
I don't have a question to the people watching, but yes, I'm very happy that you organize those competitions like this, and yeah, I'm happy to see what you will organize in the future. As you mentioned, there will be another Zander Open. Of course, I will join this, and maybe also the other competitions, maybe sometimes for pike or perch as well. And yeah, pretty cool. And I hope that there will be some other formats like this as well, for example. And
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Thank you very much for the feedback. Again, for the guys that are watching, a little overview about what's coming next. Right now, there's the Aspios Open, sponsored by Topwater Productions, until the end of next week. And on the same day, we start the next online Perch Open Stage 2 for yeah, pretty much until we start the Lure Masters Trophy. So this will play until a few days before the Lure Masters Trophy. Then we will have the Lure Masters Trophy broadcasted live for the 3 days of the competition. And right after that, we will be also running again 3 competitions, one for Zander, one for pike, and one for perch. And so this is the place to be for you to defend your title that you well deserved with impressive fish in the first edition. Congrats again for winning this. Thank you very much for taking the time. I hope you can go out again now and catch some other ones. I look forward to receive the 1 meter Zander picture and post it to the guys that are following the Lure Masters. Good luck for that, and thank you very much, Christoph.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
What a nice guy he is. Pretty cool to talk to him, I think. And thank you very much for sending in all the questions in our Instagram. I think I have mentioned the most important ones. I think we have gotten some really good information about his style of fishing, about fishing in general, about the use of technology, about pelagic fishing, some really useful tips for you guys if you want to try it out one day. And then, as mentioned before, we have the events coming up. We have one running right now, and it's not too late to enter. Right now, the ASP are biting like crazy. So if you are still interested to join, there is basically 1 week and 2 days left to compete, and then we will crown the winner of the SPU's Online Open next weekend. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed our live stream. If you would like to see someone on our stream next, please let us know. We are always open for your feedback, and we are always open to receive new ideas and also suggestions for new people on our stream. Share it if you liked it, and please make sure to leave a follow in our Twitch account. Just click on the follow button and you can get informed when we are going live. That's very important for us, so it doesn't hurt you. Just create an account on twitch.tv and follow us. More to come in the future. Thank you very much for tuning in again. It was a nice evening. Good to talk to you guys. Good to talk to Christoph. Thank you very much and have a nice evening. See you soon. Bye.